is so loud. So today I wanted to talk about the importance of energy leaks and how sealing them in your business and in your lifestyle is going to ignite you in terms of manifestation and being a magnet for what it is that you desire. And I've been thinking a lot about how we outsource our energy to other magnetic people and how we outsource our divine creativity and our Shakti, our energy body, to people and experiences and the media, movies, films. Even if you're a book reader, there's an element that we need to be aware of, that if we give too much of our energy, if we give too much of our power to doting on the creations of someone else or someone else's repertoire of divine channeling type of information, then we ultimately are draining our own energy reservoirs, and that causes leaky energy. And a lot of the times we do that is entertainment. A lot of times, why we are fascinated by those that have a creative power or something that we want, or something that is simply captivating and is simply perhaps even helping us along in our journey, is that, or excuse me, backtrack that. We need to be aware of the intentional energy behind everything that we consume and everything that is in our energetic field. Because when we give too much away to outside energy, that goes with our power being outsourced to a relationship where it feels imbalanced, our power being outsourced to a job that feels imbalanced, to a client that feels imbalanced, to a parent, to a sibling, to whomever that feels imbalanced, we are essentially just cloaking our magnetism. And when we cloak our magnetism, we're not able to ground our soul essence, and we're not able to ground our experience of being truly who we are and in our utmost power. I recently posted on Lilith being precedent in quantum abundance right now, just naturally showing up. Lilith naturally shows up, particularly when push comes to shove, when the friction is really in a juicy spot, or simply is, oh my God, this is friction, and what power, right? Lilith is a sacred feminine archetype that resembles, that signifies the dark feminine in all of creation, not just in women, but in all of creation. One can say that there is an element of the Lilith frequency, which is when power is not approved by the beholder. And once power is approved by the beholder, in a way that is cultivated with utmost acceptance and sobriety of who we are, then we are able to approve the creative energy in others. And Lilith likes to let us know what's up, let us know where we are leaking our energy, where we are outsourcing our power, where we are simply not being true to who we are. And so I like to think of Lilith as a unifying force, an especially unifying force of the shadows, or the unifying force of the personality that you sort of don't want to deal with, right? The part of you that, for instance, is arrogant, the part of you that's a bully, the part of you that is bitchy, the part of you that is whatever, fill in the blank, sexually promiscuous and intellectual energy, whatever that shit is. Lilith is like, come over here, darling. Like, let me just bring you close. And maybe she's not saying darling, maybe she's saying, come over here, you devilish, demonic woman. I want to love you and lick you up, because that is just the frequency of Lilith. She is a fierce, fierce energy. I would akin her to more of the energies in the Eastern traditions of Kali and Durga, even Chamundaye as well. So Lilith, and being today post-eclipse portal, let me know if you saw the eclipse. It was visible actually on the East Coast, and I definitely did not see it today. I was taking a luxurious morning myself. But the eclipse has a significant effects on the consciousness of our mind and our soul. And when we intentionally work with these eclipse portals, when we are open to the subtle shifts and the subtle information, it can bring us into alignment of where those energy leaks are going. And because the theme seems to be so much about power, and often the eclipse cycles are simply about power because they involve the Rahu Ketu North Node, South Node axis, and those frequencies, the head of the dragon's tail, or the head of the dragon and the dragon's tail. Rahu is the head, Ketu is the tail. That is power. The dragon, the serpent, that archetype symbolizes power. And it can be power in balance, it can be power out of control, it can be power in its divine righteousness, it can be power as simply power that is in alignment with who you are. So these eclipse portals are just great invitations to reflect on where those energy leaks are and get super clear and down with yourself and reflect on, wow, you know, I thought that was okay, that boundary, I thought that routine that I had, I thought that way I was going about my business or my intention with my strategy or my relationship with my loved ones or my goals for the next year or 10 years. Actually, I'm taking a step inward to reconfigure my energy body, because before I can say yes to a newfound understanding of clarity, I need to take inventory of where any leaks are going on, where I'm accidentally not being fully resourced of who I am because it feels scary, because it feels intimidating, because it feels hard on the body. Sometimes the alchemical process can be really painful. And when you're resourcing your power, you may want to puke it up at first. There's a reason why there's these wonderful medicinal ceremonies becoming so popular, is that people are literally puking up disempowerment from the mother that has been tainted, that has been kind of toxified by just being human, and then detoxing the misaligned power, detoxing where we are unempowered and disempowered. So then we can bring in the essence of our spirit back into our soul. And that re-empowering, rebooting experience can be very painful. So now if you are feeling guided to step it up to a new form of yourself, which is simply who you are naturally at a core, there's nothing new about this. It's quite old. However, it's helpful to look at things in these lens from time to time, that the rebirth process can be painful, as similar the death process is painful, similar as no process can be painful. It's just what is happening in your intimate reality and what is proximal to you and to your karmas right now. I wanted to especially bring up the leaky energy, because if you have an online business, it's part of the shadow of owning a business is that, oh my gosh, look at all these amazing people online doing amazing creative things, that are networking with amazing people, that, wow, I am so glad I'm in this industry. And wow, I'm fascinated by how they are embodying their power. And that's all good and great. However, we want to make sure that we're not stepping over the boundary into fascination, into obsession, into, I want that, give me that. And we're feeling a sort of subtle or obvious type of comparison energy, because that can come up so subtly in the subconscious mind that, you know, 10 to 20 seconds of scrolling unconsciously, then there's an energy leak. It simply just is. So tightening areas in your life, and especially with your use of social media, any coaches that you receive newsletters from, or any businesses of that nature, even peers. I want to give you the permission to not even open emails or stay really in the loop with people who are your peers, because you don't need to. It's your choice. No one is pressuring you to stay on top of it with whomever and whatever is doing in their business or their sacred offerings. So now that you don't even need to look at those emails, you can delete them immediately. The eclipse season is particularly a great time to unsubscribe from newsletters and unsubscribe from people truly that are not in alignment with your highest divine self. So I really wanted to mention that because it's up in my clients, it's up in me a bit, and it's just up in the terms of how can we truly be who we are, undiluted, powerfully in our creative, even sexual power. I see creative power and sexual power very akin to one another, and Lilith is the frequency to tap into that and to perhaps even transcend any boundaries between sexuality, sexual practices, sensual pleasure practices to creative practices. How can you add a little sensual intimacy into your creative practice? Is that journaling with some really erotic music, or channeling something in your business while you are moving, or intentionally pleasuring? How can you weave creativity and sensual practices together so your channel is in that nice, juicy flow of yourself? Often we can forget about our own sensual energy because we are leaking everywhere in our mind. Our mind is getting attached to different things, or we're becoming fascinated, or we're becoming obsessive, or we're just kind of not paying attention and we're kind of checking out. The path of the empowered, spiritual aligned entrepreneur requires you to be checked the F in. It requires you to be hyper aware and to be kind with yourself when you're starting to learn during pockets of your day, pockets of your cycle where, ooh, it's harder for me to stay in and on point with my awareness and what I'm doing. Taking a pause right now. How we show up as ourselves is by anchoring our power in our body, and by coming so fully embodied that we can truly channel the divine and channel our soul purpose. And that includes teachings as well. If you are a mentor or coach, or you're desiring to have a community that feels so easeful and flowing, you want to be in an easeful and flowing state of your channel. You want to be able to have a conversation about what you do, who you are, how your business serves the new paradigm or serves consciousness in a way that feels so organic and natural to you. And you may notice that it's difficult to do that when you're having energy leaks, or that perhaps this is the first time that you're coming into a moment of reflection, of seeing the connection between when it is difficult to show up is often because we have a residual layer or layers of excess energy, or what I like to call energetic debris, from others. And this can be from former mentors, former coaches, current mentors, and current coaches. I've had a lot of clients who have been through programs that, they are not 100% resonating with their coach or their mentor, but they're really trying to make the strategy work for them. They're really trying to make the recommendations work from them, but it simply doesn't feel good in the body. It simply doesn't feel realistic to where they are now. And that's totally okay. This is where grace comes in, and the relationship with anyone that you hire to help you in your business. And you take a moment back and you see what feels true to you, what feels good to you, and what feels most in alignment with your highest self at that moment. And this can be a very simple process. It's often when we overcomplicate things that, oh, I need to do a full tarot spread about this a couple times this week, or I need to talk about it with a few other people, when we can make a split decision just by knowing what direction we are going in. So making sure that you know the visionary direction that you're going in can also help you seal up any leaky energy as well. And I'll be sharing more about how to define and keep redefining your visionary stance and your visions for your business and your lifestyle. I shared an I Am exercise in Wealth Priestess about 2 weeks ago. I believe it was part of Manifestation Moon Day, or it might have been a Friday post. And I am has so much frequency for you to connect into your power and where you're desiring to step up, step in to your embodiment. So anything from I am radiant to I am a soulful leader connected to my wealth priestess energy. Whatever it is, you get to define it. You get to use identities or identifiers or self imagery that truly is resonating with you. And guess what? You get to change it as much as you like. So I'll be sharing more visionary exercises and journaling activities and things that you can consistently and regularly align yourself in. So it's both being future oriented and present oriented. And the more that we tap into the presence with acknowledgement of where we are aiming the arrow, the easier it is to say no to things. The easier it is to say no to this course, or yes to this course, or you know what, this relationship is coming to a closure, or yes, I would like to rekindle this relationship. It's really being balanced in both realms. And that balancing in both realms also goes into masculine energy and feminine energy, and making sure that those two are also balancing your energy and your business. Because often when one is out of balance, then there creates leaks in your business and leaks in your genius and leaks in your productivity that feels really good to you. I don't beat around the bush about using words like productivity or genius, or any of those words that perhaps we may associate with masculine energy, that many of us are like, you know what, I'm done with the rat race. I became an entrepreneur to get out of this corporate energy of working until the very last minute of my day and coming home exhausted and doing it again for 4 more or 5 more days in a row. Some people work 6-day weeks or even more. And we can forget that masculine energy is actually super helpful to our business, especially as women that are empowering ourselves every day a little more. So having healthy masculine energy in your business, being committed, being a visionary, but also very practical in the steps that will allow you to step into more of your power and more of your roles, that's the ideal place. Not just feminine energy, that of course I talk about a lot here within Wealth Priestess, because there's a lot of magic in that. And we're often lacking in full self-trust of the feminine energy. But we can also be accidentally not giving enough energy to the masculine part of us that wants full self-commitment. So self-trust being the feminine, self-commitment, self-dedication being the masculine to your vision and your business. So I'm going to stop right there. I think you got some understanding. Let me know any takeaways you received from this transmission, or just say hello. Would love to know you if you've been commenting on this inside my Facebook group. I have not seen you. My apologies. The setup is not where I can see my Facebook page right now. And if you're interested in working with me long term, just so you know, my Quantum Abundance group program that started in mid-May, the first round, our second round will be starting July 23rd. And so now until July 23rd, you'll get really a taste of who I am, what type of things I am passionate about, what type of natural energy comes from me, and the wisdom that I have learned and continue to cultivate in this lifetime. And anything along the lines of the priestess path, the archetypal journey of the feminine, both the heroine's journey and the hero's journey, the deep self-trust journey and the deep self-commitment journey. I am all about that inner alchemy. We just like to really give reverence to the priestess archetype here because she has some major magic that truly came through me to create this group and to create this vision and this brand, for me to anchor this consciousness of the priestess that's not an imbalanced priestess or a too yin priestess, but is a priestess who is wealthy because she has mastered the feminine, the masculine energy. She has mastered the forces without, so that mastery can trickle within and then throughout her whole life and the people she is here to connect and empower, care for, and serve for this lifetime and many lifetimes too. So many blessings. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you soon here in Wealth Priestess. Happy eclipsing, my dears.